Hey guys, Geno V here, talking about the things that I like to talk about. And today, that means talking about the fact that if you don't have at least 1% invested in Bitcoin, I think you're being dumb, cruel to yourself, silly, arrogant. It just depends on how much you know, and that determines what word I would use for you. But realistically, we're at the point of, it's the fourth or fifth largest market cap anything in the world. Gold, Apple are still ahead of it, but it just passed Amazon a little bit ago. And, we've got trillions of dollars locked up in here in the protocol. So obviously it's proofed out that ways, and you got billions moving every day in dollar value. So immensely risky it is no longer, I'd call it. And its growth rate is astronomical, has been at 60, 55% for the last couple of years. Realistically can at least hit 35% for the next 10 years, and then maybe 25 or 30% for the following 10. So you're looking at it, and guys, if you have 1% of your portfolio allocated to Bitcoin right now, in 20 years, it's going to end up being over 60% of your portfolio, right? So you more than double your return just by having 1% of your net worth in Bitcoin. Then what happens if, it blows up or otherwise fails? Okay, you lost 1% of your net worth. Well, you lose like 3 to 5% every year from inflation alone. Risk 1% to maybe more than double your return. Dude, you want a more skewed return? That's about as safe as it gets. This is my point, right? In investing, you have this thing called a stop loss, where you put a sell order or some other way of closing your position, depending on what happens, in order to limit your losses. Say you buy a stock at $100, one share, and you say, if it ever hits $80, sell it, right? That way, the most I could ever lose on that share is 20% or $20. It could keep going on down to $50, $40, $30, but you sold at 80. So you limited your losses to 20%. Of course, you also limit your upside because you sold the thing itself. But the point being, you're limiting your losses. Flip that around to Bitcoin. How are you going to limit your loss in not participating in Bitcoin? At what point do you limit your loss of not having on Bitcoin and say, okay, now I'll buy some? Is it at $200,000 a coin? 500? $1 million a coin? Is it at a certain percentage of adoption after, 1 billion people are using it, 2 billion people? Or is it after the major banks okay it? Because the federal government for the US already established the strategic reserve of it. The banks are already talking about being able to take loans out on it after they already offered ETF products like IBIT from BlackRock and SBTC, Fidelity's Bitcoin spot ETF. So where's the line in the sand for you guys? At what point do you limit your loss and jump on the train, right? Do you have a number in mind? Because you should. If you don't, what are you doing? Research it, think about it, look at it. But if you don't at least have 1% in, what are you doing, dude? Why? It will be one of the larger mistakes of your life. Of your financial life, it may be one of the biggest, if not the biggest. God willing, you don't have bigger mistakes, but if you don't buy Bitcoin and 20 years from now, you're like, oh, what happened? Just know Geno V told you, okay? That's all I have to say. Geno V out.